Alright, Bushan for me chat will be an Amisamo Bibia Kwaba and Fambra and Cassette TV and Casacati Bosuna. I do see Bushan for lawyer Paul Dinson be about to Abonti and five Japa and Ato Forson ambulance case in my church and Simbi Brainy Cassimbia Chese. Etime afifa baby achese enya asem 20 gibe ni nkoti nsem nche mi okoba eba beto aso ha yen kasa TV ha the update any trending news nko make sure to subscribe to my channel obe like it na do adwenche so egu comment section said that ebi edi bi betum bia on sa ka me do bi as
by Deputy Attorney General, former President of the Bruno Afro Regional Bar, Alfred Tua Yeboah. These are the details of what emerged in the court. And as you know, the matter is still in court. And so in making this presentation, we are merely reporting what's happening in court. We are not going to make any prejudicial statements relating to how we think the outcome would be. We're sharing with you so that you understand what happened in court. So this is a court report. Case Ato Forson is the defendant and the Republic is the prosecution. So the key points that came out of today's court were three. As always, we will isolate the key points for you viewers and then we go into them, delve into them one after the other. So the first part of what happened in court was the admission of Jakpa's dismissal letter from the Ghana Armed Forces into evidence. That letter was admitted into evidence. The second one is after a bit of struggle, it was admitted to evidence. The second one is, as you see on the screen, the legality of the Big C agreement. And that's important because the Attorney General has been stressing that the agreement, the ambulance agreement, it's being an international contract pursuant to the provisions of 1992 Constitution. I believe Article 289 or so, I can't remember well, had to go to Parliament. It needed parliamentary approval. So the Parliament of 2012 looked at it and they approved it. The fact here is that the Big C company was not part of what was approved by Parliament. And that's what it means about the legality of the Big C agreement. Big C is the company that Richard Jakpa was an agent for, the company that was to deliver the ambulances that Richard Jakpa was representing in Ghana. Okay, the next one is issues about the commission paid to Richard Jakpa. As you all know, viewers, at the end of the day, case Ato Forson is being prosecuted for occasioning financial loss to the state. Now, the financial loss to the state for which Mr. Ato Forson is being prosecuted is 2.1 million euros or so, significant amount of money. It turns out in court today that Richard Jakpa earned from the taxpayer 700,000 euro for no work done, absolutely no work done. That's what came up in court today. This is very interesting. You now see how people who are desperate to record, people are fighting because I think they knew that this day will come and they were hoping to prevent this day from coming. That is why they file a mistrial. That is why they do a press conference. They say they have some tape because they don't want us to know that Richard Jakpa, Ghanaian taxpayers, MPP foot soldiers, NDC foot soldiers, me, I'm one of them. We are all foot soldiers. Listen, Richard Jakpa took 700,000 euro of your money. Those of you who are shouting, Richard Jakpa, the guy in the box, he said in court today, admitted that he has collected 700,000 euro of the Ghanaian taxpayers' money into his pockets for being a representative of a company that was to deliver ambulance that did not deliver a single ambulance. Your money, my money, has gone into his pocket, 700,000. And Johnson Asiedu Ketia was presenting this guy as a paragon of virtue at a press conference together with Samuel Jemfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. They together held a press conference, presented Richard Jakpa as a paragon of virtue. They did not tell us, and they always don't tell us the whole truth. They did not tell us that the said Richard Jakpa had benefited from the taxpayers' money, 700,000 euro. Viewer looking at me, Kwesi Mensah in Aboba, Kofi in Takrade, Mansa in Kumasi. Have you collected 700,000 euro of the taxpayers' money for no work done? If you have done the work, the taxpayer needs to pay you, no problem. Richard Jakpa took 700,000 euro of the taxpayers' money into his pocket. Now you understand why they said mistrial. We don't want the trial. We don't want the Attorney General. Godfrey Dame is a bad boy. Take him out. You see how Samit and Fio was saying Godfrey Dame is evil. Because they knew that if the trial progresses, Ghanaians are going to turn their guns on anyone who has taken their money. And that is Richard Jakpa. Let's move on. Admission of Jakpa's dismissal letter from the Ghana Armed Forces. The prosecution, led by Alfred Tua Yeboah, Deputy Attorney General, sought to tender the dismissal letter which terminated the employment of Richard Jakpa in the army into evidence. This was faced by an objection by Thaddeus Sori, who attacked the relevance of the document. Tamaklo, who sought to alert his counterpart on his feet to say that the evidence was self-serving, was scolded by the court when the court asked whether he, Tamaklo, skipped his law of evidence classes. Hey, this was a bit dramatical. The court subsequently admitted the letter into evidence. So the story here is that when they tendered the letter, that this is the letter of Richard Jakpa, the man in the dock. This is the letter of Richard Jakpa. And that the prosecution sought to tender that in evidence. Thaddeus Sori, counsel for the defense, raised the objection and said that it wasn't relevant. Whilst Basit Bamba was on his feet, court report says that Tamaklo was telling Basit Bamba, I believe in his very arrogant connotation, Tamaklo, very, very arrogant boy. In his very arrogant connotation, he was telling Basit Bamba that I can say that about Tamaklo because I've hosted him on Good Evening Ghana and praised his work as a going to Supreme Court for Senator Rollins. But since then, the guy has become so brutally arrogant, I just stay away from him. I saw him at a funeral. The way the guy behaved, I just stay away from him. I don't know how people, just something small, NDC legal, that just gets into their head and they think that they become some, hey, take your time, Oga, relax. There's a long way ahead. Relax, relax. He rose up in court, giddy, to tell Basit Bamba, his senior. Basit Bamba taught even me, Basit Bamba taught me, so he's his senior cry. But he's his colleague in the court, he's a counterpart. He was telling Basit Bamba that the evidence is self-serving. Then the court, when lawyers say the court, they mean the judge. Then the court told him that, did you skip your evidence lecture? Sit down. That's why we said the court scolded him. In the conclusion, the court admitted the evidence. What was in the letter that was written by the Ghana Armed Forces? And who signed it? Let's go to that. This is the letter. Army Headquarters, Burma Camp, Accra, 77539 something. 12 September 2007. Reference, Army number. Please. Release from service for unsatisfactory conduct. Lieutenant Richard Jakpa. These are the details. The above named officer was commissioned into the Armor Corps as a regular officer on 21st August 1998. All things being equal, the officer should have made the rank of captain on 21st August 2002 and a major on 21st August 2007. He has consistently failed his promotion exams and now lags behind his mates in rank. Also, his service with the colors has been largely unsatisfactory, marked by consistent fraudulent conduct, abrasiveness, and general indiscipline. Viewers, note the words that were used, and I'll come to the one who signed it. His service with the colors has been largely unsatisfactory, marked by consistent fraudulent conduct, abrasiveness, and general indiscipline. 2. In addition, Lieutenant Richard Jakpa has incessantly been indebted to various people / institutions during the period. An example was his long indebtedness to Recce Regiment PRI to the tune of $300, which he was unable to pay till authority was sought for the amount to be deducted from his salary. Wow. Throughout his service life, Lieutenant Richard Jakpa of number GH2899 has proved consistently that he belongs to a world incompatible with the decent and gentlemanly composure that the Presidential Commission confers on officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. He is a bad example by all standards, and his continued retention in the service is likely to cause more harm to the service and to himself. Indeed, in May 2004, a special report submitted on him by his commanding officer suggested that the officer had reached his ceiling. 3 years on, his new commanding officer describes his conduct as shameful and regrettable. Paragraph 4. From the foregoing, the continued retention of